press record and welcome all of you to the Center for Conscious Living and our Sunday celebration this 18th of October 2020. Those of you that have been here before know, and those of you that are coming for the first time and maybe friends of Mary, I saw a beautiful invitation that she sent out to her friends and followers to be with us this morning. So welcome if you're here for the first time as well. We have practitioners that are in service this morning. I'd just like to mention Reverend Cassandra Butler from South Carolina is holding this, we call it the field. And Reverend Al Bennett is our third practitioner. Kathy Miller is our pastoral support and be admitting people to the meeting and putting up information in the chats. Reverend Michael Rogers is our first practitioner, and the wonderful Mary Reed is here to hold the light and give us the message. So good morning, Mary. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm delighted that you're here. And so I'm going to ask Reverend Michael to do our opening invocation.
Good morning, everyone, to this brisk morning and with the beautiful sun that's out, just bring us warmth. So I'm going to just ask you to come centered into your heart. You can close your eyes if you desire and just breathe in this magnificent day, this beautiful creation of the Almighty that demonstrates, manifests, and celebrates all the graces and blessings and all the magnificent gifts of life, of our awakeness, of our consciousness of good and greater good. Knowing everything is the activity of God and it is illuminating the way for each and every one of us to come centered and present in the magnificent life, this beautiful breath of the Almighty, this magnificent gathering where each one of us contribute to the upliftment, to this illumination, to this magnificent heightened frequency, energy, and vibration. For that is the divine within us, gathering us, holding and embracing us in such beauty and creativity and light and magnificent kinship. We give thanks and praise for Reverend Carol, the founding minister and spiritual director of the Center for Conscious Living, and for Mary Reed, who allowed the Spirit to just speak through her and deliver one of the most beautiful messages. We give thanks for Lou and the music and each of our practitioner ministers that step up to hold this high watch, this cathedral of grace, of magnificent joy. And for each one of you, knowing that your love, your presence, your grace is a part of this. For behold, you are loved beyond measure. And we adore the presence of the Almighty that is present within you, that is awakened within us. So we honor each other and give thanks and praise, knowing, Lord, I am amazed by you. We give thanks and praise and affirm it together by saying, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Michael Rogers. Beautiful. And this more of this beauty coming forward through the original and inspiring and wonderful music of Lou Doty.
Okay. And we're going to put everybody on mute, correct?
Yep.
All is well. All is well. All is Holy Spirit, all is well. All is good. All is good. All is Holy Spirit. All is good. All is God. All is God. All is Holy Spirit. All is God. All is well. All is well. All is Holy Spirit. All is well. All is Holy Spirit. All is well.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you. Messages everywhere. Thank you very much. And let me ask Reverend Michael to come forward and do our inspirational reading and the affirmation, which you'll find up in the chat.
Today's reading is from 365, A Year of Daily Wisdom with Dr. Ernest Holmes, and it's page 309. And it is titled, I Accept the Fullness of Life. Today, I cease weeping over the mistakes of yesterday and steadfastly behold the face of the divine and great reality. I know that every negative condition of the past is swept away. I know yesterday is no longer here. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. Today is God's day. Today is my day. Today, bright with hope and filled with promise is mine. Today, my heart is without fear. I have implicit confidence in the good, the enduring, and the truth. Today, I keep my consciousness steadfast with the realization that there is a spirit power upon which I may rely. I turn resolutely to the divine source that knows no confusion, to that spiritual center that knows no fear. That spirit is not afraid of anything. The divine has no enemies. The spirit knows no opposite. Consciousness, I draw close to my divine center and feel the warmth of its presence. I enter into a faith made perfect through love and confidence, acknowledging good in all my ways, desiring only good for others. I rest in calm assurance. I open my consciousness to the realization that all the power and presence that is clothes me in this eternal embrace, that the Spirit forever imparts its life to me. I believe in my destiny because I know that the law of good is operating through me. I have confidence in the future and enthusiastic expectations of good things to come. I accept the fullness of this moment. Please join me in reading today's affirmation. You'll see it in the chat room. Everything necessary to the full and complete expression of the most boundless experience of joy is mine now. The energy of life flows through me, and I am filled with the expectation of good. I seek God first, and all things are added onto me. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Wonderful. And so am just delighted, so happy that Mary has come today to share love and life. If you have not met her, why, you are not here by accident. You have been guided, I'm sure. We'll put up her beautiful book, Unwitting Mystic, and there's her website is unwittingmystic.com, and you can find out all kinds of things about Mary, interact with her, set up a personal meeting if you'd like. She has a couple of profoundly beautiful meditation programs that I'm sure are listed there. The Unwitting Mystic is a beautiful and award-winning book, and I think they're still working on it as a movie that tells about her life and the last 20 years of the divine experiences that she has had in the company of Jesus and Buddha and all kinds of divine beings. Profound experiences that are huge. They're the whole story of the evolution of humanity and what's going on and what we can do. I'm thrilled that she's here. I know that we are not only in good hands, but we are held within the arms of love with Mary Reed. Thank you for coming, Mary Reed.
Awesome. Namaste, namaste, everybody. It's so good. It's always a joy to be here. It feels like being home with family. I love the feel of this community, the feel of this field that is quite palpable. So Carol, thank you for the invitation, and thank all of you for your warm welcome. It's really good to see you. And I see some of my friends on here and folks from my Patreon community. It's nice to see everybody. When I was getting ready for this talk, I realized that this is my third time to be with you in 2020, which is really unusual. Normally I visit once a year in October in the fall. And I was laughing because when I first saw you in February, I was there, I think February 9th, a month before everything hit the fan. The title of my talk then was something like Living the Transcendent Life. You know, this, I was talking about the momentum of what's happening in this trajectory for humanity as we're transforming out of separation consciousness, coming into the unitive consciousness. And then the next time I saw you, which was in June, the title of my talk was called Holding It Together. And just sort of talking about, okay, so now that we're in the middle of this transformation, we've got to hold it together here. But, you know, for those of us in the spiritual community, this year, we're getting what we asked for. We're all getting that transformation process in a very, very big way, even as messy as it sounds. You know, we've asked for the return to wholeness, right? For that union with divine love, for that experience, that realization of oneness. And in that realization of oneness, it always comes back to me, right? To the self, to the oneness experience through this vessel, this experience of God. So I'm going to talk about that today in sort of my third installment with you this year, healing humanity by loving ourselves. Now, for those of you who don't know my work, I don't have any kind of religious background, so I can only ever talk about things from the mystical perspective. I've been having these mystical experiences now for about 20 years. So my work is always about love, specifically about divine love. And in my experience, what love really is, what that divine love really is this cherishing awareness, this awareness that we all are and all have, that has a purely cherishing nature. And we experience that cherishing as divine love. And from the divine love perspective, all of life is equal and free, unconditionally accepted in this state of oneness. That is the unitive consciousness experience of divine love. And in my experiences, for most of the last 20 years, my experiences have all been embodied metaphysical or mystical experiences. But in this really profound year, there was a shift, and I began channeling in late March. I began channeling this large group called Consensus. They're this arena-sized collective of divine beings, and they came forth to really start guiding my teachings. And I was working specifically, I've been most of this year working with a private group, my Patreon community. So they were guiding us in these teachings every week, sometimes twice a week, step by step by step, in these incredible teachings. And so I'm going to share with you what's happened in the process of these teachings, because I think that what we've been doing in our little group is a microcosm of what's happening with everyone. It's sort of the microcosm of the big divine plan. So regardless of which groups we're doing it in or the way that we're doing it, this is sort of, from my mystical experience, what we're all in the process of doing in humanity. So these teachings, Consensus, showed up in late March, and this was, you'll recall, in late March was when everything was starting to really escalate. All the fear within humanity, not just in America, not just in one place in the globe, but all around, was starting to really kick up because of the pandemic. So Consensus showed up at the time where all of the energies were really starting to heighten in the collective. And their initial teachings started from the very beginning with anchoring, really guiding us to anchor very, very deeply in stillness and in calm, in being in this really beautiful, calm, open and allowing state, allowing the present moment, whatever's in this present moment, to just evolve in the way that it needed to, again and again and again. So let's just take a moment here and see what we were feeling in that very beginning with those lessons. So you can imagine we're just all gathered in a field just like this. We're all being guided by this group of divine beings, this beautiful, large collective of divine beings, guiding us to anchor in stillness and calm. So let's just take a nice deep breath in and relax into that feeling. This was the place that we were being guided into collectively in our little group. Again and again and again, week after week, sometimes twice a week, guided into this place. And the analogy came that we were creating this anchoring position, much like a container. You can imagine a container that's being very calm, very steady, and all that's in that container, all of the storms that are playing out throughout humanity, are just allowed to flow in the way that's in the greatest interest of all, because they're in a container that's staying very still, very calm, very steady. You can realize the value of our role in being very calm and steady as a container, because if the container itself is caught up in that storm, then nothing can find its balance. So we play a critical role in being able to hold everything very still and allow what's ever happening in this present moment to just play out. All of these storms of the separation consciousness playing out. So as the teachings were unfolding, of course, it was coinciding with everything that was continuing in its upheaval throughout the collective, right? With the civil unrest that was beginning and all of this sort of stuff. And as humanity more and more and more is becoming untethered from all of these old foundations of normalcy, everything, all of these old anchors, the old foundations were just coming unmoored from their foundations. We began to see that and be told in our guidance that what we're anchoring in is becoming the foundations for the new, right? As those old foundations are leaving, we're beginning to anchor in and become the foundations for the new. Thus, the importance of being able to stay open and allowing. We're not just allowing that which is transforming out, but that which is transforming in, the new that is coming in for us. So as we realize that this is the role that we're playing, okay, we're anchoring in the new. The next stage of the lessons started to focus on relationship. How are we in relationship with life? As the new anchors, we cannot be in relationship in the old ways to life. So the first step in that relationship lesson then, in that teaching, was to look at how we're in relationship with earth, with nature, with humanity's home, right? So the guidance was leading us to really sink into union with earth, with the very place that is hosting where the new will be created, right? So let's just take a moment and feel into that. As we're in this calm and still state, take a nice deep breath in. And we're just relaxing into union with earth, with nature, that which is hosting and sustaining us as we're in the process creating the new foundations for whatever is to come. So in this relationship now, deeply anchored in humanity's home, the next stage of the lessons was, okay, now how are we in relationship with the rest of life? With all of life, everyday, ordinary life, what is the truth of the way that we are relating to all of life? What's the baseline of our vibration? And what we were being guided into was to understand the truth of how we have been in relationship to all of the mundane things, to sounds, everyday ordinary sounds, to inanimate objects, to complete strangers. What we were guided into was discernment of the subconscious way that we're walking through life. Not what we're telling people, not what we're showing people, but what we are living as a baseline in relationship. And as we began to discern, oh, wait a minute, how am I honestly relating to life? We began to see this baseline of subconscious, habitual, continual judgment and fear. This analysis that was very quick in our reactions to thing of annoyance, of comparison, of really, oh my God, look at the baseline of the vibration that I am as I'm in relationship with all of these various things. So as we could look at the things that we judge, the strangers that we just habitually judge, the annoyance with things around our home or our neighborhood, all of these just low-level things that we're living with, we began to be able to see into the origins of these old patterns. What's at the origin of this baseline vibration that I am living in relationship to life, just using the mundane, ordinary things. And as that was happening, all of this beautiful clearing was coming up. All of this recognition, and then being able to heal at the origin of these old patterns, clearing them out, clearing more and more and more of our field as we are anchoring in the new, the foundations for the new. So let's take a moment to feel in to that anchoring of transformation. That we're in this beautiful, deep, calm, still state of openness, of allowing these old patterns to rise up and release. Allowing that space, that deeper clarity to be known. Let's take a deep breath in with that new clarity. Just let that settle into this field. That allowance of greater openness, that allowance of the healed transformation to be present. The next stage of the teachings came as a big surprise. It was very unexpected. The next guidance for the teachings was now to call in, to invite into our hearts all of the divine teachers. All divine teachers throughout all of history. Anybody that has ever been called upon to be in service to humanity, we were invited to invite in through our hearts. The guidance that came through was that all divine teachers are here and available at this time in humanity to be present here through us in the collective. The guidance was to fully invite in the living of that divine teacher here as me, with me, through me, as me, for the collective. And as we do that, then we begin to see the relationship to all of life from that vantage point. What does the relationship with all of life, with the mundane, ordinary things and all of the great, grand things look like from the divine viewpoint? Think about that. Let's take a moment to feel into that shift in our perspective. Let's take a moment to hold a teacher, a divine teacher. It doesn't matter who it is, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Melchizedek, God, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just hold a teacher in your mind. Now we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the heart and invite that teacher into this present moment, into you. Take a nice deep breath in through the heart. Inviting that teacher in. And just allow it to settle in to your being. The presence of divine teacher here with me, through me, as me. What I realized in this teaching was why we have been guided again and again and again to anchor in stillness and calm and openness and allowing was because what we were doing was creating a space to actually anchor in the divine teachers through us into the collective. Now think about what's happening in humanity. Think about in all of the upheaval, what a perfect time to anchor in divine teachers. What happened in this process, in these teachings, as our group was guided to do that, was absolutely stunning. These incredible, profound openings. This union with divine teacher coming through loud and proud. These instant healings, this view of life that was completely transformed. Realizing what we radiate out into the collective, what we offer into the collective through us, hosting divine teacher as me. It's absolutely stunning. Each step of the way, we've been clearing these old patterns to make way for the new. Clearing our field so that we had the capacity to be in union with and as teacher, to be as the unitive consciousness and anchoring that, the unitive consciousness here while all the storms of the separation consciousness are playing out, are flowing throughout the masses. You can feel the perfection of that timing. You can feel the perfection of this divine plan, the way that everything is playing out so divinely with and through all of us. And then last week, 1 week ago today, the lessons again took an abrupt surprise turn. We were guided to shift our focus from what goes out into the collective through us, the divine teacher as us, to realize what we inspire, what we incite from the collective as the presence of divine teacher. Think about that. We can just think of Jesus or Buddha or Krishna. Think about the love that they inspire from people, from the collective. Think of the cherishing awareness, that incredible, powerful love that's inspired simply by their presence. Now let's take a moment here to remember what love really is, what divine love is. It's that cherishing awareness in which all of life is considered equal and free and unconditionally accepted in a state of oneness. We're inviting that love, that divine love, to love me. Now, what happens as we do this is we immerse ourselves in that invitation, that authentic invitation. Our little mind, our precious mind, gets involved here. The moment that we think, okay, I invite all of the collective to love me, that I identity, that separation consciousness I that we've been living with, that mind gets engaged to say, oh, wait a minute. Am I worthy of this? Am I safe in making myself that vulnerable? Am I really capable of being loved like that? Can I genuinely be in relationship with myself as love? Can I honestly, with all of my trauma, with all of my grief, with all of my anger, my frustration, my fear, can I be in a state of cherishing awareness? Can I consider all of these things within me equal and free and unconditionally accepted in this state of union? So the first invitation that we have to make in inviting ourselves to be loved is to make the invitation to me, to myself, to love myself divinely. Think about what's happening here. We've invited in the divine teacher. You can imagine, I'll use Jesus as an example. We are standing eye to eye, heart to heart with Jesus. Both sides saying, I invite you to love me. The teacher as me. This is where we have the opportunity for union with and as the divine teacher, union with and as divine love. See how that feels in your heart. Being in union by being loved, by loving ourselves, by loving the divine teacher here as us. As we genuinely love ourselves, we become the living invitation for love to flow throughout the world, throughout the collective. We don't need love from others. The invitation is simply to align with the love that is here as me. In the same way that that light doesn't need others to make it shine. Whatever aligns with that light is illuminated. So let's take a moment here to feel into that love for ourselves. To accept the invitation to ourselves to be loved divinely. For all that is here within me, to be in a state of cherishing awareness, all that is here, to be equal and free and unconditionally accepted in the oneness of all that I am. And then let us turn to each other right here in this glorious moment together, into this field, and speak it out loud. I invite you to love me. Feel ourselves receiving that love, opening up and allowing in this present moment that love to flow. Think about somebody that you're comfortable with, that you really adore. Think about turning to that person and saying, I invite you to love me. Divinely. You can feel that coming in. And now think about somebody that you struggle with, that feels a little uncomfortable in the relationship. And imagine saying to that person, I invite you to love me. Imagine receiving that. Imagine what has to open in that person's heart in order for you to feel that love. Imagine what has to open in your own heart to feel that love. You can see how incredible it would be to be able to stand in your truth as the divine teacher and say to the entire collective, I invite you to love me. Feel how joyful, how powerful it is right now to be able to say to a world that is crying out in pain, crying out for love, to say to that world, here I am. I invite you in. Whether we are infusing love into the collective or inviting that love from the collective, the starting point is always ourselves, always. No matter what else is happening in the world, this is the most powerful thing that we can do to contribute to the healing for humanity. So I encourage all of us to aim to love ourselves and then invite the rest of us into that healing. It's been a joy to share this with you today. May our time together be of benefit to all beings. Namaste, namaste.
Namaste, namaste. May our time together be a benefit to all beings. Yes, Mary, I think that's what's happening. So I invite you, thank you.
My pleasure.
You know, I'm struggling for words here, so thank you, thank you. Let me find out what's next. I think it's our time for the offertory. We have a blessing. There information in the chat if you'd like to make a donation to the Center for Conscious Living to continue to sustain this field group. And Kathy Miller is.
Yes, you'll find the blessing in the chat. If you please join me. Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee in gratitude and joy, knowing that as I give, I do receive.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, teachers. And thank you, Doty, for this next perfect song.
Thank you, Lord of the universe. I am filled with gratitude. Thank you, Lord of the universe. Thank you for my Don't you know love is all around you, surrounding you with all you ever need to realize your dream. Can't you see? Love is here to ground you, to astound you, and it's just a breath away. Oh, it's just a breath away. Don't you know you are here to be the light? So be the light. It's all you ever need to realize your dream. Can't you see? The light is always with you. It is you, and it's just a breath away. Oh, it's just a breath away. Close your eyes and live life and be aware and look around you. Don't you know God is all around you, surrounding you with all you ever need to realize your dream. Can't you see? God is your eternal life, and there's just this life, and it takes my breath away. God is just a breath away. Don't you know that peace and joy, a breath away, our love is a breath away. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Good, good love is a breath away. God is just a breath away.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Perishing awareness just flowing all over the place. Thank you. Thank you, Lou. And we have to breathe. Let's do it. Beautiful. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, we have a little prayer that we used to do for new visitors, but in this Zoom land where we're all up here on the screen. And I guess in this moving, changing, transforming time, it becomes for all of us. So here's your opportunity to practice Mary's lessons and talk, being and receiving this cherishing awareness as we raise our hands. I invite you to repeat after me. Welcome to this Center for Conscious Living. We are a heart-centered spiritual community. We open ourselves to you in love. We recognize the perfection of God within you. We celebrate the joyous being that you are. You are a radiant point of light. We are blessed by your presence. Welcome home. And then there's another prayer that we've incorporated in our service. We call it the Mastermind Covenant. It's this same one mind. Everything kind of is merging around. So if you want to close your eyes, I'll tell you the responses to this as well. Knowing there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own, and knowing it is responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. Say aloud, I acknowledge. Surrendering to the power of this mastermind consciousness or this cherishing awareness, and knowing I am guided and assisted past any limitation, any limited perception to God's truth within. Now say, I surrender. Knowing forgiveness is the key to change, I now forgive myself and others for all mistaken judgments. And I open the door to unconditional love by saying, I forgive. Realizing that my life is a creation of my own thoughts, I now choose to fill my mind with thoughts that are positive, loving, beautiful, and I allow my life to reflect that choice by saying, I choose. Holding this consciousness for the Center for Conscious Living, we now thank God for the continued prosperity of this spiritual community and for everyone. For myself, I now go within to the silence of my own mind. So I ask my own specific requests, knowing the universe always says yes. Please repeat after me. I accept. I allow. With a thankful heart and knowing that all I have asked in the name of the mastermind is now given to me, I say, thank you, God. We have a covenant that we read based on a unity prayer. The love of God enfolds me. The mind of God inspires me. The Spirit of God enlightens me. The power of God encircles me. I am in God and all is well. For I'm enthusiastic, excited, expectant, and at peace. And we say to each other, I'm grateful God has heard you. So I think that the next thing is announcements. And we have a couple of classes that are starting this week. If you would like to be in those classes, you can email CCL in Morristown. So CCLIN MOORESTOWN at AOL.com. It's in the chat. And the phone number you can call us. I don't know if that's there, probably, or will be in a minute, 856-722-5683 to join the classes, to put yourself on the prayer list, anything at all that you'd like to connect with us about. But let me see if Reverend Julie, I believe I saw her, if you want to talk about the visioning class.
I do. Good morning. Good morning. So this Wednesday, we're going to start a 7-week journey into spiritual life visioning. which is a process that we use to deepen our awareness of life moving through us and what is wanting to express at its deepest level. And some of the processes we do are to embody that and also to release anything that may be blocking the communication, blocking the flow. So it's a wonderful way of really coming into clarity and expansion. And it's not so much about manifesting, although that might be a byproduct for you, but it's really about a transformation. So I hope you can come. It's Wednesdays, 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And Kathy and Haji?
Yes, please join us, Haji and myself, on Tuesday on Zoom, starting from 7 to 9 for Radical Forgiveness. This is a class where we will be using Colin Tipping's materials to completely transform ourselves and forgive not only ourselves, but others in a way that is quite magical and very transformational. We'll be seeing the truth behind the apparent circumstances of a situation and recognizing the love that always exists there. It is a fabulous class, and I encourage you to join Haji and I as we explore those materials, really deepen into some of those things that we have suppressed and repressed for many years, and really allow peace in our own minds and share the love with others. So again, this Tuesday we'll be starting 7 to 9, and you can call the CCL class or use the email and join us. So please do. Thank you.
So, and we'll send you the link to these classes after you contact us. Please, if you're not on our mail list and would like to be, we'd love to have you. And then you'll see we have Course in Miracles groups going second and fourth Monday nights, Saturday mornings. We have a women's group, a men's group, lots of things unfolding. So we'd be happy to. And another thing from Kathy.
Yes, I just want to let all the women in the group know that this Saturday, again, at 7 o'clock, we will be holding on Zoom our Red Tent Women's Group. And the topic for this particular meeting will be understanding our awareness of our humanness and what that means to us in this transformational time. So please join us then as well. Thank you.
I bet that has something to do with loving yourself as well. It will be perfect for wonderful. So get on our mail list, find out all the things that are coming. John Mundy, Reverend Dr. John Mundy is joining us next week. He's a long time from the very beginning with Helen Schuckman, original scribe of Course in Miracles, a teacher and facilitator of Course in Miracles. And we'll be, I'm sure, talking about that and love as well. I don't know what else to say, except we love you, and we have another glorious song.
God is all there is. All there is God. Raise a voice in devotion. All there is God. God is all there is. Love is all there is. All there is love. Raise my arms, I adore you. All there is love. God is all I need. Raise a voice in devotion. Raise my arms, I adore you. Give my life, I surrender. All I need is God. God is all there is. God is all there is.
Anthem in some respects here at CCL. Thank you, Lou, so much. I just want to say again, unwittingmystic.com. Maybe you'd like to take some of those beautiful meditation classes that Mary has. In fact, do you want to say something about them, Mary? That might be lovely.
I'm sure. I have 2 meditation courses. Actually, there's one primary one and then a follow-up. The primary is called Divine 444. It's a 4-week meditation course. It's absolutely beautiful, nice, grounding, especially in these times. It's been very helpful for a lot of people. And then the follow-up is called the Divine Vibe. So now that your system is sort of grounded and open, that divine vibe is coming from a different perspective. And that's a 2-week course. I also invite everybody, you know, all of the things that I shared today are the teachings that have come week after week with my Patreon community. So if people are interested in being a part of that, several of you are on this call, feel free to go to patreon.com/MaryReed, or it's on my website, the section called We Do This Together. So everybody's welcome to join.
And I think there are many things on YouTube from Mary Reed as well. One of them from CCL, one of the early ones from when you talked with us. So thank you. I just want to be sure that people have that connection. Yes, I don't know how long the Divine Vibe is because I keep redoing several of them. I just anyway. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, everybody. And Reverend Michael Rogers with our concluding affirmation.
Okay, please repeat after me while staying mute. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
To me right now.
It is this thing called life. Life is in my body. Life is in my mind. Life is in my feelings. Life is in all my activities. I receive it. I share it. I am it. And I accept it just the way that it is. Thank you, life. And accepting all of these gifts, welcoming, allowing life to love us spiritually, we say yes.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Blessings, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Practice being in relationship to all those teachers.
Yay! We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Reed.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you
Reed.
so much.
Thank you.
You're beautiful.
Carol,
Love
thank
to
you,
all
Mike,
of you.
Chris.
Kathy, and Julie.
Thanks, everybody.
So good to see
Thank you, everyone.
Sue,
Thank
Love
you.
and blessings. Have a great week.
Danielle,
Thank you, Mary.
thank you.
Bye.
Ryan, hello.
Thank you,
Oh,
Ellen.
so nice to see Mary again.
Everybody. Hi, Joanne. Hi, June.
Hi, Kathy.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sandra.
I have something for you.
Bye.
Thank you, Joanne.
Maggie, Lynn,
Hi.
Thank you,
Nancy,
June.
Hi, Deb.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Mike. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Tabby.
Honey. Hi, Reverend Al. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, Mike and Ellen.
Gee, good to see your smiling
Michael.
face.
Bonnie,
Wonderful.
Hi, Kathy O'Brien.
Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Aura.
Kathy
Welcome.
O'Brien.
Bye, everyone.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Georgianne.
And hi, Juanita.
Where's Mickey?
Hi, Aura.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Michael.
Hi, Melissa.
Have
Thank you.
a day.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hey,
John.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, John.
Thank you, Mary Reed. It was wonderful.
Thank
It
you.
was
Nice
That's
wonderful.
beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks for
Mary.
having me.
Hey, Joanne.
There is
Hi,
something-
Hi,
Joanne.
Joanne Del Vecchio.
Hi, Melissa.
Got lost
Hi, Ellen.
for a few minutes.
Eileen.
Hi, Maggie.
Hello, Virgie. Hi. how are you
Hi,
doing?
856.
Oh, 856 663.
Yeah.
Hey, Joyce.
Hi, Peggy.